Hey, this is Rick Reichert bringing you another awesome Rock on the Range moment.
All right, sitting here with Lzzy, Hale, and Joe. Halestorm, they're set to go on stage at Rock on the Range. We missed them last year. They were here a year before, so glad to have you guys back.
Oh, so glad to be back.
We were so bummed to miss last year because we look forward to this every year.
I think Halestorm and Papa Roach are like Rock on the Range favorites. I gotta
Right.
be honest. You guys are like the ultimate bands that started like as babies on the side stage and worked your way to the main, and everybody just loves your set. So we're glad you're back.
Thank you. That's sweet.
You guys have been really busy. Brand new album, Into the Wildlife. Talk about that and how you sort of came up with the album title, because you guys always have these really super creative album titles.
Thank you.
We have a tendency to confuse the hell out of everybody every time. Yeah.
Well, Into the Wildlife, it's just kind of where we are right now. You know, we the second record did really well for us, and we've had a lot of dreams coming true and knocking stuff off the bucket list almost weekly now. You know, playing these great rooms, traveling the world. You know, all over the world we've been playing and headlining and having such a good time. We won a Grammy, and you know, it's just getting crazier and crazier, and I feel like we're just getting started. So it's kind of, we're just going into the wildlife. And
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. What ended up being kind of tying into that another meaning, which we didn't really realize until after we listened to the record in sequence, was, you know, what's really freaking wild is being yourself and freaking owning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something that was what we went into this record doing. You know, it's the four of us. We're all playing live to each other. All the songs are done performance style from beginning to end. No piecing in, no cutting in, and then also lyrically is just, you know, it's ownership, man. It's owning what you are and everything that you like, and not just for us, but for everybody that listens to us. So I don't know. It made sense to us at the time. At the same time, just like the Strange Case of, where everyone's like, strange case of what?
I know.
Strange Case of Halestorm.
Now it's like Into the Wild, Into the Wild. Like, are there animal noises? So yeah, we just confuse everything.
jungle shit.
We talked about like all the touring and being overseas. You'd made a comment about how you really appreciated how Europe really gets into like the classic rock scene. What was that experience that kind of got you into that? Where were you?
Crazy.
Well, they, you know, the English fans and European fans, they, we decided rock show is a verb, and to be a rock fan, you know, it's an essential part of the show, and
They know how to rock show.
They know how to rock show. You know, it's people show up there and they want to give the band energy. They want to go nuts, and it does. When you're playing, you get all this energy from a crowd. You give it back to them, and you give a better show. They get a better show, and it goes. You know, it's this exchange of energy, and they do it so well over there. And it's like rock on the range. You know, the Rangers here are so awesome and such a great rock crowd. They know how to rock show here, and it's just fun.
Now, the last time you guys were here, though, it was you were just getting over a cold, I think, but you played at the LC, and the best part of the show is how you guys just interact and have a blast on stage. You know, whether it's a big stage or a smaller one, and LC by no means is small, but the fact that you kind of break it down, you get out and play piano by yourself. RJ gets up and stands on his drum seat, and he's got those big drum thing, you know, the big sticks and whatever, and he gets all into it. You guys are all interactive. Are we going to see like that kind of thing, of course, again today?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to be. You know, we've all been friends for over a decade, and literally living 2 feet from each other in whatever monstrosity we're touring with. So it's a part, for us, maybe it's selfish, but we play music for us, you know, and like we play music and we go out and we're like, we want to have a great time.
Just have so much fun.
And you know, thankfully, other people do too.
Yeah, I think that translates when we're, something I've learned, you know, when we're having fun on stage, it sends out a vibe or something. It was something that worked in our favor when we were opening up for Eric Church on those country shows, because we'd come out, it was like starting all over again. You walk into an arena full of people and you're playing in the round, and we didn't hold back. We did our full rock show, and people were like, oh, you know, it was like the second coming of Slayer. And by the third or fourth song, we'd win them over, you know, and you could see the everything change, and they'd start getting into it. But we were just having fun playing music, and I think that crosses all genre boundaries, and it's just people like having fun, you know.
Agreed. And when you did the Eric Church tour, and then you did the show with Eric Church, at that point it was awesome to watch. I had to leave work. I was like, I'm leaving my work. I'm going home. I got to watch this on TV. Aww. It was cool to watch a country crowd go who's this girl?
Who is that?
this? And you blew him away. And he said, oh my God, everyone, this is Lzzy Hale from Halestorm. I mean, that was a really great thing.
cool.
I have to tell you a small story about that. So right before we went on, because it's TV, it's an award show, and right before Eric was supposed to go into this like hole to be lifted out of the floor,
Right.
And he's like, Lzzy, because we had been rehearsing for a day before, so we both knew our parts where I'm gonna come in, he's gonna cut out, and he's like, I just want to throw all that out the window now. And I'm like, whoa, we're going on in 2 minutes. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna like hang back and I'm gonna let you do your thing. And he's like, so if it's horrible, it's all on you. Go. And I'm like,
Oh my
what?
God.
So it's a true testament to his confidence as a performer, because he really did let me have a moment there,
Yeah.
whereas I don't think that many other people of that stature would have done that. So like he's such an incredible human as well as a great performer. So
And
yeah,
he
that was nice of him.
Appreciates other talent, and he likes to allow it to be seen and
Yeah.
push it out there. Now you just did a country cover of Girl Crush,
Yeah.
and that's like gone crazy viral.
Luckily the guys at Sirius just let us do whatever we want.
What's so funny is like that's not a country song, you know.
Right.
It doesn't sound like one. Even on Little Big Town's version, it doesn't sound country. There's nothing country about it. It sounds like a 50s song, and
Really?
it's just such a good song and so well written that
Yeah.
I mean, we heard it, we're like, oh my God, how cool is that song, So it was just, I was like, Lzzy, I want to hear you sing that. You gotta. What would you sound like singing that? And it was awesome. She sounds great.
We
It turns
tried
out.
it in like the dressing room one day. Like you started playing, I'm like, I'm just gonna sing it with you, And then we're like, we have to do that.
We did it one night in Munich, Germany, and then we did it again at the Sirius XM thing, and it's just been fun. We haven't really played it since, but it was for us. We were being selfish.
Are you guys going to do that tonight on stage for fun, do you think? Maybe?
Probably not.
No.
I don't
No.
know. I don't know. I think it's going to be more wham bam thank you ma'am. Probably no ballads today.
Right on. Well, it's kind of like, Here's to Us. That song sort of trickled into the country sort of sound, but it was a bar vibe and all that.
Yeah.
Every bar I go to, and there are many, that song always gets played. People will be
how
on their
cool.
phones, ordering it up.
There's actually a country artist, Rick Monroe, who covered it. And
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
he's like, yeah, all we really needed to do was put on some slide guitar.
Banjo and
Yeah.
Lzzy and Joe from Halestorm hitting the Monster main stage today at Rock on the Range. So great that they're here. Now with the new album, there's been some time where you've kind of had to defend the fact that it's not a real hardcore record, but it's a solid album. Kind of talk about why are people saying that? It's all great Halestorm music.
In all honesty, the bottom line is that we erred on the side of ourselves. So like I said before, it's like really this is probably the most Halestorm record you've seen because it really is just the four of us playing and really just doing whatever the hell we want. So
yeah, and whatever. The last thing we worry about is if people, oh, it's softer. I mean, it's a rock and roll record, and it's inspired by the great records of the 70s and 80s, and it's more musical than any of our records have been, and it was just so much fun to make, and we're fans of it.
you have to take into account that like the way that we view heavy is we grew up on classic rock music, so it's like the weightiness of Sabbath and the weightiness of Zeppelin. That's our heavy. It's not 10 diesels and a wall of fuzzy guitars. Metal. It's our metal is Judas Priest. So it's like to me it depends on where you fall in that spectrum.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about Unapologetic. It's on the bonus, and I'm curious about that one a little bit.
I love
I
that
gotta be
song,
honest.
Unapologetic song.
It's actually the demo.
Yeah, what we put on there was just the demo. We didn't even fully record that. It was just the idea. We're like, I don't know, we wrote it and had a good time writing it, and
Why don't we share it? Yeah.
we'll be unapologetic about sharing it.
Exactly. It's such a weird song because it really goes through, like, there's some hip-hop elements, there's pop. There's one part that really does sound like it could end out a Bryan Adams song. So it's really interesting. But to me, it was one of those more literal songs kind of about the record and being unapologetic about who you are and what you love. So, yeah.
And every song you guys do like that, there's always something that's really important message-wise. Dear Daughter it's an amazing song, and I know there's the message, but for people that may not have heard it yet or really love that tune, talk a little bit about where you came, because you had a great family, real supportive parents. But Dear Daughter, talk about that a little bit.
You know, Dear Daughter is one of those songs. I write a lot of these kind of cheeseball songs that I don't ever really even show the guys or never really make it on the record, because the past 2 records I'm like, that's too sweet, we can't put that. But like this one, I'm like, you know what, I should show that side of myself that does exist, but not to everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So it started out with a conversation that I had with my mom, after me being in Halestorm for 18 years and the Grammy and whatever we've done, she still is like, was I a good mom? You know,
Yeah.
did I do a good job? So we had a conversation and realizing the bravery it takes to kind of pass that on, and you want to protect your kid or you want to protect somebody, but you also, it takes a certain amount of bravery to let them be a rock star and let
Yes.
them do their thing and do whatever they love. And I thought, you know what, this is a message that needs to be on this record. And I thought, really, it started out as kind of like a letter to my unborn child, you know, because
Yeah.
I don't have a kid, but I thought, would I be brave enough, you know, to do
Yeah.
that for my kid the way my parents did? And I'm like, yeah, you know what, I would. So it's been really neat to see the response, and apparently it makes people cry. So
Yes.
That song comes with freshly cut onions.
yes.
So you've been out on tour with the Pretty Reckless. How much fun is that for you to have 2 of the most cool rock chicks on the planet together?
They are awesome, man. They're such a good band, and turns out they're great people too. We've been having too much fun with them, I think.
Yeah, Taylor's an old soul, man. You know, she's 21 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had this conversation. We've had a lot of conversations. And she just loves rock and roll. And it's great to see someone who isn't in it for the money, because she's already got that. Isn't in it for the fame, because she already had that.
Yeah.
She's purely goes on stage because she needs to rock. And I see that every night in her, and I'm so proud,
Yeah.
you know, to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, and I bet she feels the same way too. You know, about Halestorm and you, especially having another strong female-fronted, another female-fronted band leader with her.
I can only hope so. But I'll tell you what, they're a lot of fun to hang out with, and she's the best. I feel like if we went to high school together, we would have been best friends.
So Joe, when you see the girls leave for a night off, you're like, oh God, when do you
It's
think
just
they're going to
trouble.
be back?
I'm just-
Shopping, a little
I
bar
just-
hopping.
I just know that I'll be carrying Lzzy onto the bus. Come on.
If there's, and I'm not much of a shopper, but I thought, how much fun would that be to go shopping with Lzzy Hale and Taylor Momsen, and then go bar hopping after? It'd be so much fun.
We're gonna have to work that out. Yeah.
Let's make that happen. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I am just so excited to see you guys back up on the Rock on the Range stage. Lzzy Hale, Joe, Halestorm today at Rock on the Range. This is number 9, 2015. Make sure you pick up their new album, Into the Wildlife, if you haven't yet.
Please
These
do.
guys are the best there is. Thank you so much.